My child, this is not your ordinary confirmation. I have knocked before, but this time, heaven will not stay silent. I have called your name in quiet moments, in restless nights, in the middle of your tears, and even through the battles you could not explain to anyone around you. But now the hour has come where you can no longer ignore what your spirit has been feeling. Something is shifting. Something massive is already moving around you. And if you walk away from this moment too quickly, you may miss the very breakthrough you begged me for when no one else was listening. Within the next few moments, something inside you will begin to awaken. That heaviness you have carried for so long is not just exhaustion anymore. It is the pressure before release. The shaking you feared is not destruction. It is me removing every chain that stood between you and your destiny. I am tearing down walls you thought would stand forever. I am uprooting fear, confusion, delay, betrayal, and every hidden force that tried to convince you your story would end in disappointment. You thought the silence meant I abandoned you, but my child, I was preparing a move so powerful that when it finally arrives, nobody will be able to deny that it was my hand upon your life. I did not bring you here by accident. Before this moment ever reached you, I already knew the tears you would cry, the nights you would battle anxiety, and the prayers you would whisper while trying not to fall apart. I know how many times you smiled while secretly carrying pain no one noticed. I saw every moment you almost gave up. I heard every question you asked me in silence. Lord, are you still with me? Do you still hear me? Will this season ever change? And now I answer you directly, yes, I heard every word. Yes, I stayed beside you through every storm. And yes, this season is about to change in ways you never expected. Do not scroll away from this message. Do not allow distraction to steal what heaven is trying to place inside your spirit right now. The battle around you is reaching its final stage, and the enemy knows something you have not fully realized, yet your breakthrough is no longer far away. That is why the pressure increased. That is why confusion attacked your mind. That is why some days felt heavier than others. The darkness sensed that your season was changing, so it tried to exhaust you before you stepped into victory. But I tell you now, the attack did not come because you were losing. It came because heaven was preparing to lift you higher than before. You thought the waiting season was your ending. There were moments when you truly believed nothing would ever change. You looked at closed doors, broken relationships, delayed answers, financial struggles, emotional exhaustion, and you wondered if your prayers had fallen into silence. But my beloved child, the ground is about to shake because I am moving mountains you could never move on your own. What seemed impossible to you was never impossible to me. While you were crying, I was arranging. While you were waiting, I was preparing. While you were losing strength, I was positioning miracles behind the scenes that you could not yet see. My beloved child, this is your final warning before your life changes forever. Open the door now. Open the door of your heart. Open the door of your faith. Open the door of your trust. Because the breakthrough you begged me for is no longer coming from a distance, it has already arrived. You keep looking ahead for something future, but I need you to understand that heaven has already released movement into your situation. The chains are already weakening. The doors are already unlocking. The answers are already moving toward you. Even now, while you listen to these words, things are shifting in places you cannot see. The tears you cried in secret were never ignored. Heaven heard every whisper, every sleepless prayer, every silent breakdown. I saw the nights when your chest felt heavy with fear. I saw the mornings when you forced yourself to keep going even though your spirit felt tired. I saw the disappointment you hid from others because you were afraid nobody would understand. But I understood. I was there every second. I collected every tear you shed in silence. Not one moment of your suffering was wasted. The pain you survived was shaping you for the season that is now arriving. Something massive has already entered your atmosphere. You cannot fully see it yet, but your spirit can feel it. That restless feeling inside you is not random. That unusual pressure around your life is not coincidence. This is not fear. This is the sound of chains breaking. This is the sound of spiritual walls collapsing. This is the sound of heaven responding to prayers you thought had gone unanswered. The shaking has already begun in the unseen realm, and soon what happens spiritually will become visible in your everyday life. Right, you carried me through. Father, if He brought you safely through the storms, I am not asking you to prepare for victory anymore. I am telling you victory has already entered your house. The season of barely surviving is ending. The season of endless delay is collapsing. The season of watching others move forward while you remain stuck is coming to an end. You are stepping into a moment that will divide your life into before and after. Before this breakthrough, and after this breakthrough. Before this healing, and after this healing. Before this restoration, and after this restoration. The enemy tried to convince you that you were forgotten. There were voices around you that made you question your worth, your future, and even your faith. Some people smiled in front of you while secretly expecting your downfall. Others abandoned you when you needed support the most. But I allowed you to survive every betrayal because I needed you to learn something powerful. Your destiny was never tied to the people who walked away from you. I am the one holding your future. I am the one opening doors no person can shut. I am the one writing your story, and no attack from darkness can erase what I have already spoken over your life. Before this day ends, your heart will no longer be the same. I am knocking one last time because the season of delay is collapsing before your eyes. The fear that followed you for years is breaking. The discouragement that kept whispering defeat is losing its grip. The heaviness you carried is beginning to lift. You may not understand every detail yet, but deep inside your spirit you can already sense that something is changing. The atmosphere around your life is shifting because I am moving closer than ever before. I know there were moments when you questioned your strength. You wondered how much longer you could keep enduring disappointment after disappointment. You became tired of hoping, tired of waiting, tired of fighting battles nobody else could see. But my child, I never asked you to carry this burden alone. I have been standing beside you through every unseen war. Every time you almost collapsed emotionally, I strengthened you. Every time you wanted to quit, I breathed courage back into your spirit. Every time darkness whispered lies into your mind, my hand remained over your life, protecting you from complete destruction. And I'll listen carefully, because this moment is sacred. You are standing at the edge of a transition that will alter your future completely. The shaking around you is not there to destroy you, it is clearing the path ahead. Some things had to fall apart because they could not follow you into your next season. Some people had to leave because they were connected to your old season, not your new one. Some doors had to close because they were too small for the destiny I prepared for you. You cried over what was leaving, but soon you will understand why I removed it. Do not let fear make you run backward now. Do not allow doubt to stop you when heaven is finally opening the way forward. This is the moment your spirit has been preparing for through every painful season. The breakthrough is not approaching slowly anymore. It is here. The healing is here. The restoration is here. The answer is here. The miracle is here. Stand firm now, my beloved child. Even if the ground shakes beneath you, do not panic. Even if circumstances begin changing rapidly, do not fear. I am the one controlling the shaking. I am the one leading you through this transition. And when this season fully unfolds, you will look back and realize that every painful moment was leading you directly toward this breakthrough. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. I am knocking one last time. Open the door now. Do not delay your obedience. Do not ignore my voice. Do not allow distractions to pull you away from this divine moment. Because what I am about to release into your life is greater than anything you have imagined. The chains are breaking. The walls are falling. The heavens are opening. And your breakthrough is not coming someday in the future. It is already here. My child, stop for a moment and listen carefully to me. Do not move past this message too quickly. Do not allow distraction to steal this moment from you. I am speaking directly into your spirit right now, and what I am about to reveal is not small. This is not another ordinary message you casually hear and forget. This is not random timing. This is not coincidence. I brought you here because heaven has chosen this exact moment to interrupt your life. I know what you were doing before these words found you. I know the thoughts running through your mind. I know the pressure that hath been sitting heavily on your chest these past days. And I tell you now, there is a reason your spirit has felt restless. There is a reason sleep has become difficult. There is a reason your emotions have shifted suddenly without explanation. There is a reason you have felt both exhausted and alert at the same time. Heaven is moving around you, my beloved child, and the spiritual realm has already begun to shake. I am knocking one last time. I have whispered to you before. I have tried to get your attention through quiet moments, through delays, through unexpected signs, through people, through dreams, through battles, and through silence. But now I come with urgency because the season you are standing in is too important for you to ignore my voice any longer. If you walk away from this moment without listening, you may delay the very breakthrough you have cried to me for in secret. You asked me for answers. You begged me to move. You pleaded with me to change your situation. And now that heaven is responding, I need you to remain still long enough to hear what I am saying to you. My child, something massive is already happening around your life. Even if your eyes cannot fully see it yet, your spirit has already begun to sense it. That unusual heaviness you have been carrying is not only stress. That confusion you have felt is not simply exhaustion. That emotional pressure you cannot explain is not random. The spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting because I am preparing to remove things that can no longer stay attached to your destiny. The shaking has already started in places you cannot see. The reason everything feels unstable is because I am touching the foundations of your life. I am exposing hidden fears. I am breaking invisible chains. I am moving obstacles that have blocked your path for longer than you realize. Do not ignore this moment. Do not skip past these words because the enemy knows how close you are to breakthrough. That is why the attacks became stronger recently. That is why your mind has been under pressure. That is why discouragement suddenly increased. Darkness can sense when heaven is preparing to release something powerful into a person's life. The battle intensified because your season is changing. The confusion increased because your chains are weakening. The pressure became heavier because what has been holding you captive knows its time is ending. My beloved child, I know you have been tired. I know there were nights when you sat quietly, wondering how much longer you could keep fighting battles nobody else understood. I saw the moments you smiled in front of others while secretly breaking inside. I heard the silent prayers you whispered while trying not to cry. I watched you carry burdens you never told anyone about because you feared nobody would understand the depth of your pain. But I understood. I was there every second. Even when you thought I was silent, I was standing beside you, protecting you from attacks you never even saw. This is why I interrupted your path today. This is why these words found you now and not later. Heaven does not move by accident. I arranged this moment because your spirit needed warning before the shaking increases. Yes, my child, the shaking will increase. But do not fear when it happens. Do not panic when things begin shifting suddenly around you. Do not become afraid when doors close unexpectedly, when people change, when situations move rapidly, or when emotions rise to the surface. What is happening is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to free you. For too long you have carried things that were never assigned to follow you into your next season. You carried old pain, old disappointment, old fear, old guilt, old attachments, old habits. And now I am beginning to remove everything standing between you and the destiny I prepared for you before you were even born. The process feels uncomfortable because chains do not break quietly. Spiritual warfare does not happen without resistance. But what you feel right now is evidence that movement has already begun in the unseen realm. I need you to hear me carefully now. This message contains your breakthrough. Not because these words themselves hold power, but because I am using this moment to awaken your spirit before the transition fully arrives. If you keep ignoring my voice, you will continue carrying burdens I already planned to remove from your life. But if you listen now, if you open your heart now, if you stop resisting what I am trying to do, then you will step into one of the greatest shifts of your entire life. My child, you have sensed it already. You have felt moments recently where something deep inside you suddenly became alert. Times when your spirit felt overwhelmed for no clear reason. Moments where you felt emotional without understanding why. Nights when your thoughts raced endlessly. Days where your energy suddenly disappeared. Sudden waves of frustration, sadness, confusion, or urgency that seemed to come from nowhere. You questioned yourself, wondering what was happening to you. But I tell you now, heaven has been drawing near to your situation. Your spirit is reacting to movement in the unseen realm. The enemy tried to convince you that you were simply falling apart. But no, my beloved child, what you are experiencing is the pressure of transition. It is the tension between your old season and your new one. It is the sound of spiritual walls beginning to crack. It is the atmosphere shifting before breakthrough arrives fully into your hands. You are standing between what was and what is about to be born. I am knocking one last time because there are still parts of your heart you have kept locked away from me. You trust me with certain areas of your life, but not all of them. You still carry fears you have not surrendered. You still replay old pain in your mind. You still hold on to disappointment from prayers that seemed delayed. But my child, I need complete access to your heart now, because where I am taking you cannot be reached while you remain chained to old wounds. This is not the season to retreat in fear. This is not the season to quit praying. This is not the season to disconnect from me emotionally because things feel uncertain. This is the season to stand firm while heaven rearranges your life. And yes, some things will shake. Some things will fall. Some things will end. But hear me clearly. What leaves your life now was never strong enough to carry your destiny forward. The breakthrough you have been waiting for is closer than you realize. In fact, it has already begun moving toward you. While you were crying, I was arranging things behind the scenes. While you were doubting, I was opening doors you could not yet see. While you were exhausted, I was positioning people, opportunities, healing, restoration, and answers that are about to enter your life suddenly. But before the breakthrough becomes visible, the shaking must happen first. The spiritual realm always shifts before the natural world changes. Chains break invisibly before freedom becomes visible. Doors unlock spiritually before they open physically. That is why your spirit has felt pressure lately. Heaven has already started moving things into position. So do not ignore this warning, my beloved child. Do not treat this like another passing message. This is your divine interruption. This is heaven knocking loudly against the door of your heart before everything changes. I am calling you to wake up spiritually because the next chapter of your life is approaching faster than you think. Do not let fear control you now. Do not let exhaustion silence your faith. Do not let confusion stop your obedience. Stand still and listen to my voice above every other voice around you. Because once this shaking fully begins, many people will panic. Many will lose hope. Many will not understand what is happening around them. What you will know. You will remember that I warned you beforehand. You will remember that I told you the shaking was not destruction. It was deliverance. My child, heaven is already moving. The chains are already weakening. The atmosphere is already changing. Your breakthrough is no longer far away. And this knock upon your spirit is not casual, is urgent, is holy. It is the sound of me standing at the door one final time before your entire life shifts forever. My beloved child, come closer to me now and listen carefully, because these words are flowing directly from my heart into yours. I know there were moments when you believed nobody truly saw what you were carrying. You became skilled at hiding your pain behind tired smiles and quiet responses. You learned how to survive while silently breaking inside. People looked at you and assumed you were strong because you kept moving forward, but they never saw the battles waiting for you when the room became silent and the lights went out. They never heard the trembling in your breathing late at night. They never saw you staring into darkness with thoughts too heavy to explain. But I saw every moment, my child. I saw every hidden tear you wiped away quickly before anyone noticed. I heard every silent cry you buried deep inside your chest because you were afraid of appearing weak. Say, I will not fear, Lord, because His presence surrounds and protects you. There were nights when exhaustion wrapped around your soul like chains. Nights when your mind would not rest no matter how tired your body felt. You lay awake replaying conversations, betrayals, disappointments, and fears over and over inside your head. You questioned yourself constantly. What did I do wrong? Why does everything feel so heavy? Why does it seem like everyone leaves? Why does it feel like I keep fighting the same battles, and while nobody around you understood the storm happening inside your heart? I remained beside you through every second of it. Even when silence surrounded you, my presence never left your side. I know about the prayers you whispered through tears. I know about the nights when you cried so quietly because you did not want anyone else in the house to hear you breaking apart. I saw you cover your face while trying to hold yourself together. I saw your hands trembling from emotional exhaustion. I heard the desperate prayers you prayed when nobody else was listening. Lord, please help me. Lord, please answer me. Lord, I cannot carry this anymore, my beloved child. Not one of those prayers disappeared into silence. Not one tear fell unnoticed. Heaven recorded every cry that escaped your heart. You wondered why I seemed quiet during the seasons that hurt you the most. You asked why I did not immediately stop the betrayal, remove the pain, or silence the attacks coming against your mind. There were moments when my silence confused you deeply. You interpreted silence as distance. You thought perhaps I stepped away from your situation. But my child, I was never absent. I was closest to you during the moments you felt most abandoned. When your heart shattered, I sat beside you in the darkness. When disappointment crushed your spirit, I wrapped my presence around you even though your pain kept you from recognizing it. I watched people make promises to you that they never intended to keep. I saw the heartbreak caused by those who walked away after gaining your trust. I witnessed the moments when you gave your loyalty, your love, your kindness, and your effort to people who repaid you with rejection, distance, or betrayal. I know how deeply those wounds affected you because you never fully spoke about them aloud. You carried them quietly. You convinced yourself to stay strong while secretly bleeding emotionally inside. But I saw every hidden wound, my child. I saw the way betrayal changed your ability to trust. I saw the fear it planted deep inside your heart. I saw how disappointment slowly turned into emotional exhaustion. There were mornings when getting out of bed felt like carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. You smiled at people while secretly wondering how much longer you could continue pretending to be okay. Some days your spirit felt completely drained before the day even began. Your body became tired. Your mind became overwhelmed. Your emotions became heavy without warning. You started feeling disconnected from joy because survival became your daily focus. Yet even then, you continue moving forward. And my child, I want you to understand something important right now. The fact that you survived those seasons proves that my hand was holding you the entire time. There were attacks against your mind that nobody else knew about. Thoughts filled with fear, discouragement, hopelessness, and confusion tried to consume your peace. The enemy whispered lies into your spirit, telling you that nothing would ever change, that your prayers were useless, that your future would always feel this painful. Some nights those thoughts became so loud that you felt emotionally trapped inside your own mind. But every time you almost gave up completely, I strengthened you quietly. Every time darkness tried to swallow your hope, I breathed enough strength into your spirit for one more day. You may not have recognized my presence then, but I was there sustaining you moment by moment. My beloved child, there is pain inside you that even the people closest to you never fully understood. They saw parts of your struggle, but they did not see the full weight you carried internally. They did not know how deeply certain words affected you. They did not understand how many times disappointment pushed you to emotional limits. They did not hear the inner battles you fought while trying to appear normal on the outside. But I knew. I knew every hidden fear, every silent breakdown, every exhausted prayer, Every moment you sat alone trying to hold your heart together while tears rolled down your face. And still, despite all of that pain, you continued searching for me. Even when your faith became weak, you still whispered my name. Even when you doubted whether I heard you, part of your spirit still reached toward heaven hoping I would answer. My child, do you understand how precious that is to me? The enemy expected your suffering to destroy your faith completely. Darkness expected your disappointments to pull you away from me forever. But even through your confusion, even through your exhaustion, your spirit continued calling out to me, and I heard every single word. You thought your painful seasons were punishment, but they were preparation. I know that truth is difficult for you to understand right now because pain rarely makes sense while you are living through it. But there were things inside your heart that could only be strengthened through the storms you survived. I was teaching you endurance. I was teaching you discernment. I was teaching you how to recognize my voice above every other voice around you. I was building spiritual strength inside you that comfort alone could never create. Those lonely nights were not wasted. Those tears were not meaningless. Those delays were not evidence of abandonment. While you were crying, I was shaping your spirit quietly for the season now approaching your life. Every betrayal taught you where not to place your identity. Every disappointment taught you to depend on me more deeply. Every painful goodbye removed people who could not follow you into your next season. Even the silence you hated so much forced your spirit to seek me more honestly than ever before. My beloved child, I know you became tired of carrying pain for so long. I know there were moments when you secretly wondered if joy would ever return to your life again. You feared that exhaustion had become your permanent reality. You feared that disappointment would always follow you. But listen carefully now, because I need your heart to receive this truth. The suffering season is ending. The nights of constant crying are coming to an end. The heaviness choking your spirit is beginning to break. The emotional warfare that kept draining your strength is losing its grip over your life. I know it has taken longer than you expected. I know there were times when you almost lost hope waiting for things to change. But heaven has not forgotten you. I have not ignored your pain. And I am not leaving you trapped inside the same cycle forever. Something is shifting now, my child. The season that wounded you is not the season that will define your future. What felt endless is beginning to close. What felt buried is beginning to rise again. The same heart that carried sorrow for so long will soon carry joy again. The same eyes that cried through sleepless nights will witness restoration. The same spirit that barely survived emotional battles will soon stand stronger than before. You were never abandoned. Not for 1 second. Even during the darkest nights, when you felt emotionally invisible to everyone around you, I remained beside you faithfully. I protected you from attacks you never saw. I stopped doors from opening that would have destroyed you further. I carried your spirit when you no longer had strength to carry yourself. And now, after everything you survived, I am telling you clearly, your tears were not the end of your story. The suffering season is breaking. The loneliness is breaking. The silence is breaking. And the breakthrough you thought would never arrive is already beginning to move toward you. My beloved child, I know how many times you asked me the same painful question in the middle of your waiting. Lord, why is it taking so long? You prayed with sincerity. You cried with faith. You believed with all the strength you had left. Yet day after day, the answer seemed delayed. Doors stayed closed. Situations remained unchanged. The breakthrough you expected did not arrive, when you hoped it would. And slowly, disappointment began whispering dangerous thoughts into your heart. You started wondering if perhaps I had forgotten you. Perhaps I had chosen others while leaving you behind. Perhaps your prayers were not important enough to reach heaven. But my child, listen to me carefully now, because I need you to understand something that will heal part of the pain you carried for so long. The delay was never rejection. I never ignored your prayers. I never abandoned your future. I never overlooked your tears. Even during the seasons when heaven seemed silent, I was deeply involved in every detail surrounding your life. The problem was never that I stopped working. The problem was that you expected me to move according to your timing while I was moving according to your protection. There were things you asked for before you were emotionally, spiritually, and mentally prepared to carry them. There were blessings you wanted immediately that would have crushed you if I released them too early. I know you did not understand that at the time. Human frustration made the waiting feel unbearable. But now I need you to see the truth behind the silence. You called it delay, but many times it was protection. There were relationships you begged me to preserve that would have slowly destroyed your peace if they had remained. I know how deeply certain people mattered to you. I know how badly you wanted them to stay. You prayed for restoration. You prayed for healing. You prayed for them to change. But my child, some people were assigned only to a chapter of your story, not your entire destiny. You cried when they walked away because you thought losing them meant losing part of yourself. But I removed them because I could see what you could not. I saw the hidden damage those relationships would eventually cause to your spirit. I saw how certain connections drained your joy, weakened your confidence, distracted your focus, and kept you emotionally trapped in cycles that could not follow you into your future. You thought closed doors meant rejection. But many of those closed doors were my mercy protecting you from places that would have wounded you deeply. There were opportunities you were convinced would change your life. You imagined your future around them. You became emotionally attached to outcomes that never happened. And when those doors closed, your heart broke because you believed your chance had disappeared forever. But my beloved child, I closed some doors because the rooms behind them carried hidden pain you were not prepared to face. What looked perfect from your perspective carried consequences only heaven could see clearly. I know there were moments when frustration almost consumed your faith. You became tired of hearing phrases like "wait on God" because waiting felt painful, confusing, and lonely. You watched others receive blessings while your prayers remained unanswered. You watched people move forward while your own life seemed frozen in place. Some days it felt like time itself was moving around you while you remained trapped inside the same exhausting season. And slowly, disappointment began turning into emotional weariness. You wondered if maybe your breakthrough would never come at all. But my child, heaven was never inactive during your waiting season. While you were crying over delays, I was arranging details behind the scenes that your human eyes could not yet see. I was moving people into position. I was removing hidden dangers from your path. I was teaching your spirit lessons that comfort alone could never teach you. I was building maturity inside you because where I am taking you requires a stronger version of you than the one who first entered this season. There were moments when you begged me to open doors immediately, but I delayed them because your heart still needed healing first. You wanted blessings while secretly carrying wounds that would have sabotaged those blessings later. You wanted elevation while still struggling with fears, insecurities, emotional attachments, and pain from your past. And because I love you too deeply to give you something prematurely, I allowed the waiting season to continue until your spirit became stronger. My child, premature blessings often become hidden burdens. If I had released certain things too early, they would have damaged you instead of helping you. Some blessings require preparation before they arrive. A heart carrying unresolved pain cannot fully sustain the weight of destiny. That is why the waiting felt long. I was not punishing you. I was preparing you carefully. You mistook my silence for abandonment because you could not see the spiritual work happening beyond your understanding. But silence never meant absence. Even when you heard nothing, I was still guiding your steps. Even when answers delayed, my hand remained over your life, protecting your future. Every unanswered prayer carried purpose. Every delay carried hidden wisdom. Every closed door carried protection. Comment, your promises are my anchor, God, if you're standing on His unshakable word. And share this video.